Sorry about that. Lost my audio for a second there, but now you can hear me. I personally battled Lyme disease for a long time, and it really beat me down. It was really difficult. Then when I got better, I helped 2,331 people do the same and fight back against Lyme disease in 2024. Today, I'm going to share how long is Lyme disease? How long can you plan on being in this fight and fighting for your health? And I'm going to do that today and tomorrow. And the past 3 days, I've been doing that, helping people take back their body and feel like themselves again by sharing the ins and outs of what we've learned from working directly with clients, from providing people with their herbs, and from just talking to people in the trenches every day who are battling Lyme disease, what we've learned over the past 2 years helping people, and how you can take what we've learned and run with it so you can start to feel better and you can start to take back your body. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and attention. You could be doing so many other things, but you are focused on yourself. So give yourself a round of applause, a pat on the back for being here and showing up for yourself when so many other people, maybe don't put in that time for self-care, put in that time to feel like themselves again and try to get back their body and try to feel good and have energy instead of chronic fatigue. Stop their joint pain, stop their headaches, stop all of the symptoms. I mean, as you know, I could probably fill this entire screen with symptoms and you wouldn't even be able to see me anymore because there's so many symptoms that link back to Lyme disease. So if you've ever wondered if you have Lyme disease, well, I got a special treat for you tomorrow. So stay tuned, because in day 5, I'm going to give you some free resources, and one of them is going to help you understand your body and understand if you have Lyme disease. And if you know you have Lyme disease, it'll help you understand how tricky and how deep and how difficult your specific Lyme case is as compared to other people. So really, really cool stuff. And let's hop into today, and I'll show you my screen. Let's do this. So it is day 4 of the 5-day Stop Lyme Challenge. Thank you for being here. And today we're talking about how long does Lyme disease last? This is the number one question that we get. How long will I need to take the herbs? How long do I fight back against Lyme? How long do I take to know until I feel better? What should I expect? How long is it going to take? And that's a completely fair question. But just real quick recap, day number 1, I went over an overview of how this 5-day challenge is going to work. I talked about my Lyme disease story, how I helped 2,331 people in 2024, the 3 key areas we'll focus on during this challenge, and the 7 biggest mistakes people make when healing Lyme. So if you missed day 1, go back and watch that now. You should see the video down below this one. It's all in a playlist together so that you can access them all together at any time from day 1 all the way up to day 5. In day number 2, we talked about the broken system that's holding you back from healing Lyme, the one person who can help you win the war with Lyme, and hint, it's not me. And this is keeping you sick, taking your time, money, and energy with no results to show for it. So you definitely want to get caught up on day number 2. If you haven't seen day number 2, go back and watch that as well. And then day number 3, we talked about the food that you should stop eating if you want to heal your body from Lyme. How to focus on healing so you never get distracted or fall off, and the simplest strategy for your diet that nobody talks about. I mean that. Not a lot of people are sharing this information, but it works wonders for healing the body. And this is something that I personally did, and I've personally been, experimenting with and trying different things with myself, with my clients for years now. So just go back and watch day number 3 if you didn't see it, because I think it's going to have a profound impact on how you approach your diet and the foods that you choose to eat versus not eat when you're healing Lyme disease. So day number 3 was a really important one. If you missed it, go back and watch it. So now that brings us to today, day number 4. So how long does Lyme disease last? That is the question. Well, the discovery that I made at this point in the journey is that the body works on averages over time and its health season. Let me explain. Like you, I also don't have time for Lyme disease. These are real pictures of me around the time when I was going through Lyme disease, picture on the left is me with my brother and my dad snowboarding. Then you see me out in nature making some videos. As you know, this YouTube channel is very big part of my life, and I put a lot of time and effort into making videos that help people with their health, not only Lyme disease, but also with all types of challenges like losing weight, gaining muscle, increasing testosterone, increasing, feeling better, having a good daily routine so that you feel good every day. This channel is dedicated to all of that. So hit the subscribe button if you're new here. And then all the way on the right, you'll see a picture of me and my 2 kids when they were little. They're a lot older now, but in this picture, I just love this picture. It's such a good picture. And I was busy with my career, my family, learning new things. I'm the type of person that likes to grow and learn and attend events and get coaching and get courses and read books. But I was in a state where I was trying to survive with my family. I was trying to grow and create a good life. And at the time, my wife was pregnant with my second child. So the stress levels were high. And then on top of that, Lyme disease came in and absolutely rocked my world. So I did not have time to focus on my health like a lot of you. So my first thought was, I don't have time for this. There's no way I could put the time and effort and energy into healing my body. I have so many other things that I have to do. And I would have killed for a quick solution, a magic pill that took all my symptoms away. If I could just push a button and the problem was fixed, I would have done it 100 times out of 100. But that didn't exist. And I started attending all sorts of events for living a better life. These are real pictures of events that I went to. On the left, you can see this is a very, very big event that was very inspirational and motivational. It kind of changed my life. Maybe we'll talk more about that later. There's another event, the biomolecular blueprint, is where I learned how to interpret lab test results and really look at how to refine and build a human body that performs like a top performer, like an athlete. These 2 guys that you see here, Dan Garner and Dr. Andy Galpin, have, they work with Olympians, they work with championship level athletes. So I, invested thousands of dollars to be in the same room with these guys for 2 days and learn everything that I possibly could and soak up all the knowledge that I could from them. And then on the bottom, you'll see a picture where I went to a retreat. It was a men's retreat, and I learned a lot from all these friends here and made a lot of connections and learned about all types of different things. And some of these people actually had Lyme disease and dealt with Lyme disease in the past, so there was some key learnings there that helped me along my journey as well. But something struck me in this journey that I was going on, and it was at one of these events. A beautiful young lady was yelling about how she had stopped ignoring her health and how she felt so amazing and she had all this energy and was finally herself again. And at the time when I had little to no energy, my body had been basically betraying me as far as I was concerned. My hormones were through the floor. I didn't have any energy. My heart was not doing what I wanted it to do. I thought to myself, ignoring health, that was an interesting concept that I hadn't really thought about before. But she continued, our health is all we have. What is the opposite of being healthy? Being dead? And that was a really good point to me. I thought for a second, wow, that you don't often really make that connection when people are telling you how to eat healthy and what foods to eat and how to lose weight and how to feel good and have energy. You're not always connecting it to the idea that the extreme opposite of being healthy is being dead. Right? The opposite of life is death. So having the most amount of health and life is at the total opposite end of being unalive. So that hit me like a ton of bricks and changed the way that I viewed myself and viewed the world. And I've been saying it ever since. You've probably already heard me say that analogy and say that to you. But the truth is I stole it from that amazing young lady that I saw on the stage that day. So why was I rushing to heal, right? Why was I in such a rush? Feeling like I didn't have time for health. Was it so that I could go back to what? Ignoring my health again? Isn't that an interesting point? If we rush to get better when things are not working, when we're not feeling well, when we don't have good health, what are we rushing to get back to? Where are we trying to get to? Are we trying to get to a place where we don't have to focus on our health at all? And is that even the goal? And what? Right? So stop focusing on my health and what? Lead to death, die, right? So the big problem was that I saw what happens, right? So now I was committed. I said, okay, it is time then for me to focus on my health. I fully commit to that. But the problem that came and smacked me in the face then, because as you know, every solution leads to another problem. And then the big problem that I came up against was, I would go to the gym for all of January. This is an example of my own lifestyle, right? At this point, we're talking about Lyme disease, but I knew myself, right? And thinking back about myself, I thought, well, I go to the gym for January and then I would stop, right? I would eat smaller portions at dinner for a few months, but then as soon as I had a big cheat day, everything would fall off. So I would go from eating healthy, then I'd be like, all right, I could take a little break. I would eat the cheat day, and then after that, it was really hard to get back to eating healthy because I loved food so much. So maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you're in a place where you know that you find it hard to commit, and sometimes you quit on yourself. You quit on things. That is the point that I was at in my journey. I knew I wanted to get healthy, obviously, because I was in such pain and having this big problem with Lyme disease. It was terrible. But I knew also that I had a hard time committing to things, and I would fall off of things pretty easily. So if you can relate to that, let me know in the comments. Do you relate to the idea that you could quit on yourself sometimes? Sometimes you find it hard to commit, or you'll be committed for a period of time and then you'll stop. Is that something that hits home for you? Well, the 3 herbs that help me with Lyme disease the most, you may have already heard about, but we have Andrographis paniculata, Uncaria tomentosa, and Polygonum cuspidatum. But it was really difficult. I had to make teas and tinctures and salves. I had to learn from herbalists. I had to spend so much time making herb concoctions. I would fall off, forget, or stop. It was difficult to stay consistent when I had to do all of this work myself. And that's why I wanted to make it easier for everyone else with the Lyme Wars herb box you can get at lymewars.com or lymediseasewars.com. It includes the highest quality herbs. They are third-party tested. That's so that because I personally take them. I actually took them yesterday because my family has a cold going around right now. After the holiday break, my kids came back home and they were, feeling sick. They had illness, right? I don't know what it is. And they had a cough and a sore throat and all that, the works, the normal stuff. And I didn't want to get it. And as soon as I started feeling that little tickle in my throat, I started taking the Lyme Wars herbs. That's how I use them now at this point in my life. Now that I've healed from Lyme disease, I still use them to this day because they're just powerful, helpful herbs that can help with so much for their antioxidant, anti-inflammatory benefits that I take them all the time. And the way that I know it's safe for me to take them is I pay to have them third-party tested by a company outside of our company, outside of our manufacturing company. And that way I know they're safe. I know I can give them to my kids. I give them to my family. At Christmas time, I went up to Pennsylvania. I started handing them out to everyone, right? I gave them to my in-laws. I gave them to my parents. I gave them to my sister and my other sister. I basically just started handing out the Lyme Wars herbs like candy at Christmas so that everyone had these herbs on hand. And the only reason I can do that, give these to my family and feel comfortable doing that, is because I had them third-party tested. And I know that there's nothing unsafe. There's no heavy metals in them. There's no drugs or interactive materials in there. There's nothing extra that doesn't belong in there. And do that for that's why I do the third party testing, or that's one reason why. The other reason is everybody deserves the highest quality product, right? Anyway, I wanted to make sure it was also affordable, and I wanted to make it really easy for everyone to get the herbs that they need. Instead of having to make teas and tinctures and salves and learn from herbalists, really, what if I could just have a box show up at my house and take the herbs that I need? And it was that simple. That's what I wish existed when I had Lyme disease, but it didn't, so I created it for you. And now over 2,439 people and counting have tried these herbs. But when it gets difficult, just like everything else in life, people quit. Did you know that 12% of all gym memberships start in January? Now that might not sound like a lot, but when we're talking about 12 million people, that's a million people, right? We're talking about a huge percentage of people starting their gym membership in January. And then 50% of those people end up quitting within 6 months. And that doesn't even count the ghost memberships, meaning the people that keep their memberships but then end up, not going to the gym anymore, but they keep their membership active because they say, well, maybe I'll go next week or maybe I'll go tomorrow, and then they never end up going. But even taking that out of the equation, still 50% of the people cancel their memberships within 6 months. Now, you might be wondering what gym memberships have to do with Lyme disease, and the point is people quit, right? People have a hard time committing to things for the long term. And all of us know that going to the gym for 6 months is not going to significantly change your life. It's better than 0 months, but it's not going to absolutely change your body and your health forever just from going to the gym for 6 months. Even worse, 80% of all New Year's resolutions, right? No matter what those New Year's resolutions are, whether they're based on business or career or finances, or they're based on relationships or family, or maybe they're based on health and eating healthy and going to the gym and worrying about, your body, 80% of all of those are quit by February. All right, that's insane to me, right? It's January 9th right now, and imagine in just 20 days quitting on yourself. 20 days from now, you're saying, I can't do this anymore, and quitting. That is a very, very short amount of time, and it's very sad. But they call January 10th Quitter's Day. That's tomorrow, because a large amount of people quit on their New Year's resolutions just 10 days into the year. Now, I don't want you to be one of those people that quit tomorrow, that quit on Quitter's Day, and you will not be if I have anything to do with it. So this is all just to say, it's a lot easier to stop doing the right things than it is to start doing the right things. It's easy to say you're going to do the hard things, the things that you know you have to do. It's a lot easier. It's a lot harder to stick with it once you say you're going to do it, right? Everybody can say they're going to, really focus on their health and start eating an anti-inflammatory diet and finally start taking back their body from chronic Lyme disease and stop having the joint pains and the headaches and the chronic fatigue. But what about when you're 2 months in and you're feeling crappy and somebody presents you with a delicious pizza and, they want to go out and have pizza and drink alcohol with you? Are you still able to stick with it at that time? When times are hard, when it's easier to do the wrong thing than the right thing, are you still going to stay on the path? Are you still going to stick with it? The big problem is how to commit, right? And the two main reasons people quit is, one, it's uncomfortable and difficult, and two, it takes time, right? We all have the same 24 hours every day. We all have the same amount of time. But let's dive deeper into these reasons, right? It's uncomfortable. Well, there are times when you won't feel motivated. And if you have Lyme disease, that's going to be a lot of the time, maybe even most of the time. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because sometimes the changes are too drastic. Maybe you're not sure what exactly you should do next. Sometimes the process is not enjoyable for you. It just sucks. And sometimes it's stressful and it adds stress to your life instead of taking stress away. It's too hard. And the other one, well, no, this is how to fix that, right? How do you fix that? Well, the first thing would be plan ahead with a step-by-step process so that you're not, you're not knowing what to do next. You always know what to do next. You want to plan for slip-ups. So if I slip up, if I decide to have that cheat meal, what am I going to do, right? If I miss having my herbs one day, or if I miss, doing something that I'm supposed to do for my body, if I miss the sauna or the massage appointment that I have, what am I going to do? How am I going to come back from that? How am I going to do it the next day, right? The body works on averages over time. So work with others to make it less stressful, right? Because they can give you accountability. And you might be thinking, well, accountability, that sounds more stressful. But the opposite is true. Accountability doesn't mean they're going to crack the whip and be like, you must do these things. Accountability simply means, hey, did you do it? Yes or no? It's a simple yes or no question, but simply having somebody to ask you if you've done the thing you said you were going to do will cause you to do it more often than if you don't have that person. And finally, talking about your feelings, your motivation level, and your mentality just in general will help you. It's the supportive feelings that come from that allow you to stick with things even when they are uncomfortable, because you're able to talk through them, you're able to get support, and and if you're working with someone who knows what they're doing, they're able to direct your focus back to the reasons that you're doing these things in the first place. So that's how you would get over the fact that something is uncomfortable. These are 4 ways that you can actually tackle this problem before it even happens. Before you get to the point where it's uncomfortable and you want to quit, you can have these things in place. The other one is it takes time, right? And sometimes it feels like it's going to be forever. And, maybe it should be, right? What if it was forever? I'm not talking about the symptoms. I'm talking about the new lifestyle changes that you're taking on board. What if it was forever? Maybe it's supposed to be a lifestyle change. Maybe it's supposed to be forever. And maybe it should be forever, but you still find it difficult to commit. And that can stop people all by itself. Time is our most expensive and valuable resource. We don't want to spend time doing things that are unenjoyable or uncomfortable or difficult to do. That's just human nature. So the 2 cases for quitting is it takes time and it's uncomfortable. Here's how to tackle the fact that it takes time. Well, again, you want to plan ahead with a step-by-step process. If you don't have a step-by-step process, I'm here to provide one for you. Next, you want to realize the body works on averages over time. I said this in the last one as well. This is so important to understand. That means if you do something 6 out of 7 days per week, that's better than doing it 1 out of 7 days per week, right? Averages over time. So we're not looking at weeks either. This is over time. So for a whole year, how many times did you stay on the meal plan versus get off the meal plan? Did you stay on the meal plan 365 days? That would be perfect, 100%. Or did you stay on the meal plan for, 100 out of 365 days, which is, less than a third of the time, which is not as good. You'll have less results because the body works on averages over time and it adjusts to what's happening more frequently over time. Next, you can work with others to make it take less time, right? This is the number one thing that I've learned how to do in my life that's changed everything. It's part of the reason why I invest so much in going to events and coaching and courses, because they can shortcut things for me. They can make things take less time, whether it's my health, my relationships, my career, anything. It can take less time when you work with others who help you take the shortcuts, who say, hey, I've been down this road. I've made these mistakes before. Don't make these mistakes. I've been down this road. I've done this, this, and this. And if you do that thing, you're wasting your time, right? Just that one little sentence can save you months or years of time sometimes. Next, you can have a timeline for your progress. So instead of just, winging it and hoping you feel better one day, hoping one day you wake up and feel great, you should have this set in stone. You should say, okay, on this day, I'm going to check in with myself. I'm going to see how I feel. I'm going to make some changes if necessary, or I'm going to just stay on the path based on how I feel, right? You want to have a timeline though. So you have periods where you check in. You have periods where you focus on different areas of your body so that you're stacking them up over time. Next, you want to commit to the process. And the best way I've found for committing to the process is focusing on what I call a healing season, right? We have seasons of our life. Sometimes we need to focus on our relationships, and that season of our life is all about our relationships. It's all about, building the strongest connection possible with our person. Sometimes we have a season for our finances. We're just really in our work phase, and we're just working really, really hard every day and trying to get our finances on track. Well, this is a season where, unfortunately, you've been smacked with something called Lyme disease, or, maybe if you didn't get a diagnosis yet, you're not sure if it's Lyme disease, but we'll talk about that, don't worry. But either way, you're not feeling 100%. You're not feeling like yourself. Something feels off, and you want more out of your body. You want more out of your health. Well, if you commit yourself to a healing season, right, a period of time, and by season, I don't mean 3 months. I don't mean, an actual season. I mean, this period of your life should be focused on your health and healing your body from the inside out. This is what I used when I was fighting back against Lyme. And I thought to myself, I don't have time for this. Once I realized I needed to focus my energy and time on this, I decided, okay, fine. This is going to be a healing season. I'm just going to focus on my health for the next year. I'm going to dial everything in to the best of my ability. I'm going to quit drinking alcohol. I'm going to quit watching Netflix. I'm going to quit, basically doing anything that harms me or hurts my body. If I know it hurts my body, I'm not going to do it. And if I think it will help my body, then I will do it. And that is how I made my decisions for an entire year of time. Right? It's about priorities. It's about prioritizing the number one most important thing. And for this period of time, the number one most important thing becomes healing and health and your body. And everything else is then secondary priority. The best way to invest time is in your health because it returns more time to you, right? We want to live longer, and we also want to have more life in our years, right? More years in our life and more life in our years. So we want to have our health we not only want to stay alive longer, we also want to be healthy for longer. So when we invest time in our health, we actually get more time back, which is one of the greatest parts about investing in our health. So that is really the crux of the discovery that I made, the third discovery on this Lyme healing journey that I went on. And I used to get discouraged about the process. It felt time consuming and difficult, and I really wanted the magic pill. I would have done anything to get a doctor to give me a pill that actually fixed everything. Not antibiotics, by the way. But I found out that I really needed to have a plan and focus for a period of time. And we go through different seasons of life where we focus on different things. And I called this season for me my healing season. And it helped me commit to the process. And I was able to do things that were actually ended up becoming great stories and very interesting and changed the way I viewed the world. Just like the time that I told you about yesterday where I went camping by myself, and I did a vision quest, they call it. I don't know if I'll call it that, but I fasted for 5 days, and 3 of those days I was in the woods by myself camping. That was a story. That gave me, another layer on my life that I wouldn't have otherwise had, but I considered it part of my healing season. I would have never done that if I wasn't trying to heal my body. And I learned that the highest return on investment ROI of my time is my health, because it returns more time to me. So I can stay healthy for longer and have that health come with me into the later stages of my life. So the body works on averages over time, and it's health season. Don't rush. Your best investment of time is into your body and your health, and the opposite of being healthy is what? Being dead, unfortunately. So it took me, this is to answer the question directly, because I know at the end of this, a lot of you are thinking, okay, but how long does it really take? Right? Like, I spent all this time trying to get you committed to the process, committed to the idea that it's going to take time, committed to the idea that you can invest that time in your health and it will be a good investment. It won't be a waste of your time. It will be a very beneficial use of your time and a very, very good idea. But you still want to know, okay, but how much time, right? How much time is it going to take? Well, for me, like I said, it took me 12 months of focused attention to heal. And if you think that's a long time, well, I'm not sure what to tell you. I personally did not think it was long at all. I still don't. I don't think 12 months is unreasonable to focus on my health, right? And I'm not saying I didn't do anything else for 12 months. I also obviously worked so I could provide for my family, and I, built relationships so that I could, have a good human experience. But my main focus, like the filter that I made all of my decisions through, was, will this help or hurt my health? And I did that for 12 months straight. That meant when I was at Thanksgiving or at Christmas, I didn't eat the desserts and the cookies. I didn't drink the alcohol. I ended up ending relationships that were harming me or hurting me, or I walked away from people that I didn't find value in our relationship anymore. It felt one-sided. It felt like they were taking from me more than they were giving. I was able to end those relationships. There's a lot of things that go into healing that are not so cut and dry, so straightforward, like, what to eat, what not to eat, what to, focus your time on, when to exercise, how to use a sauna, how to use herbs, how to use supplements. All that stuff is awesome, but there's even more, right? There's how do you breathe? How do you meditate? How do you keep a calm mind and body so that you stay in a state where the body can heal itself? These are all things I had to learn over 12 months of time, and I would never change that. I would never take back those 12 months because it changed my whole life forever. It's taken others 3 months if they're truly focused and they put in the effort and they, do everything in their power over 3 months. Sometimes I get people telling me, well, I'm better after 3 months because I did all of this and it worked. Then still others take 3 years. As this is just an example, right? It's going to depend solely on your specific health challenges. It would be silly of me to say it's going to take exactly this long for everybody to get through Lyme disease or co-infections, because those co-infections exist. First of all, that's a good reason why it could take longer. There's a ton of other reasons. Like, what other health issues are you facing? Somebody that has a host of other issues like leaky gut syndrome or diabetes, or all these other things that could be affecting their ability to heal, and their body's healing power can be completely different from person to person. So it's not going to be a very clear answer every time. But for me, I spent 12 months, and then after that, it's not that I stopped focusing on my health. After 12 months of focusing on your health, your life will be very, very different, because you'll look at the world differently. You'll see how good you can actually feel, which is a whole other thing. So then now moving forward, like, am I more likely now to then just go on a crazy binge eating journey and start drinking alcohol and going crazy with everyone? Probably not, because I see what happens when I don't do that for a whole year, how I feel. And it's not just seeing how you feel consciously, it's also subconscious. You start to understand your body on a new level where you're able to kind of really focus on your health and become a different person. And so when you become this different person and you step into that new identity, it's very difficult to then go back against that after 12 months of that focused attention. So it's different for everyone is the true answer. I know you knew I was going to say that because it's so, that's just how the human body works. Everybody has a different body. We can't say that it's going to be this specific way for every single person. And anybody that says that to you, by the way, run the other direction because they're just trying to sell you something. And that's not what we're about here. So hopefully this video helps you out. Carl went through the program and he said, I always struggled to stay committed. I knew I had to do certain things, but I would fall off. Ryan and his team made staying committed even easier because we planned for it from the beginning and made sure everything was set up in advance. Then they held me accountable. This made it so much easier to transform my life. And he's right. Having that accountability, but also having the mindset in place and having a plan of what exactly is going to happen makes all the difference in your journey. I wish I had somebody like myself for lack of, I don't know how else to say this, but I wish I had, somebody that was willing to help me and coach me through the process specifically for Lyme disease. When I went through this, I didn't have that. I had health mentors and people that helped me with health and performance coaches and all types of different coaches that helped me, but none of them were specifically focused on Lyme disease or co-infections or chronic illness, which is what I would have truly wanted if it existed, but I wasn't ever able to find that. So that's why I created it myself. And that is the end of day number 4. So my question to you is, are you ready to go through a healing season in your life? And is there anything stopping you? Comment now. Let's talk about it. Let's bring this to light. And tomorrow is day number 5, where I'm going to give you some free Lyme disease tools that you are going to absolutely love. If you remember, first of all, you'll get the free PDFs that go directly with this. There's a diet template, a supplement template, a mindset template. These are all things we talked about over the past 5 days together. And then there's also 2 other surprise bonuses, which I can't wait to show you. I think you're going to love them. They are very big deal to me. And I would say the value is probably, hundreds to thousands of dollars for these things that I'm going to give you for free. So show up tomorrow. You're going to love it. I really think this is going to change the entire Lyme disease community forever. And that's the goal for almost everything that I do. I try to make it something that's going to change the way people view Lyme disease and also the way people show up for themselves and for each other. So Emmanuel asks how long to heal, and I just answered it right here. It took me 12 months of focused attention to heal. It takes others 3 months if they're truly focused. It takes some people 3 years, depending on their specific health challenges. So everyone is different. We can all do the best we can, and everyone is slightly different in how they heal. There's no clear-cut answer for this. And this is focusing on holistic wellness and doing it the natural route. You can try to take the antibiotics, but what we see more often than not is when you use antibiotics, Lyme disease comes back with a vengeance, right? It might go away for a little bit and you feel great, and then all of a sudden, boom, you stop the antibiotics, the Borrelia burgdorferi Lyme microbes roll back out to their full form and start wreaking havoc again. And that can be very dangerous. And there's also the fact of antibiotic resistance that's going on there. So we definitely want to avoid just using antibiotics and trying to shortcut the system. We want to kind of take our time and move forward. So let me here I am. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure over these past 4 days. Tomorrow I'm going to give you all those free resources. Let me just make sure. Oh, Emmanuel says, how does the coaching work? Well, tomorrow I'm going to give you some more details about that. So be on the lookout for that. But really, you're going to see three free things that I'm going to give you tomorrow that will help you. And then, we're very picky about who we work with. Our results and our what's the word? Like our results are really important to us, right? So we're not going to work with every single person because that would be crazy. That would be ridiculous. We focus on the people that we believe will get very good results with our specific program, because it would be unethical to do anything less than that, right? We don't want to just say this is for everybody and anybody who ever had Lyme disease can benefit from this. Our coaching programs are focused on a very specific type of individual, and we stay focused on that type of person so that we can give them the best results possible. So you'll see if you're a good fit for the program, you will find out because we'll tell you. So I hope this video finds you well on this beautiful Thursday, January 9th. And tomorrow is going to be day 5 where I give you all the free tools. So thank you so much for showing up for yourself, and give yourself that pat on the back that we talked about because you're showing up for yourself. I love that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. My name is Ryan Kern.